Chambers, and I'm running for place 7 on the Louisville ISD School Board. I'm running because I feel that there is a need to have some change. We need to have the school board answer to our community, be able to speak and have an open dialogue between our board members, the community, our teachers. It seems right now our board doesn't actually speak with our community. I also think that we need to be looking at some of the things that are going on with budgeting, with the bond that's coming up. We need to make sure that it's addressing all of our community issues. My position as a project specialist, I have worked between California, East Coast, West Coast. I've done refresh technology, hardware, software. I have a financial background, and I believe that will help me along with vendor contracts, pretty much anything that's going to come up on the school board. So with that, I think that will help me with the school board.
I'm Tracy Miller, and let me first clear up that nobody as a trustee can talk to vendors or bring vendor contacts. It's a violation of law. I've been on the school board for the last 3 years. In 2014, I think the citizens made the right decision to elect me, and I've been what I said I was. Everything you heard here so far about special needs, LISD is known for our special needs, and we're also known for our gifted and talented. We're known for being transparent. You'll hear a lot about that we're not certain things. I'm here to tell you tonight that we are. Most of you moved here because of the partnership between the communities and the school district. Our school board represents a school board that has been more transparent than its history. We have made decisions in a way that we've never made them before. We've partnered with our communities and parents, and I, of all people, have a reputation for being accessible, available, and transparent. I work with parents every day. They call me with special needs and otherwise, and I can assure you that LISD is partnering with parents, partnering with our community, doing everything we can around special ed, special needs, and our gifted students in all 69 schools.
Thank you. My name's John Hanna, running for the school board place 6. You've never heard of me before, but I think you already know something about me, and that is my favorite color is blue. There's one specific incident that caused me to get involved in this race, which actually occurred the last week before eligibility closed, but I'm going to give you it from a kind of a macro level all the way down. I've been, well, I have a very large, high degree of distaste and loathing for the current president and his administration, and I'm very, very frustrated over how they're handling and the Republicans are handling our government. And that frustration has led to me basically being involved. Wasn't it Barack Obama who said, if you don't like what you see, get involved? So that's where I am today, and that's why I'm here. But my incident happened to be with property taxes. I was looking at property taxes. I was a little upset about how the county handles that. And I realized that after doing some investigation, that a 14-year teacher in this school district makes less in 1 year than a brand new teacher who is just hired. I think that's horrible. And the superintendent's salary in the last 5 years has gone up 117%. So that's according to an article I read. So I think we need some equity in what's happening here. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Christy Hassett, and I'm a longtime resident of the area. I grew up in LISD. I graduated from Marcus High School. My kids are currently attending Flower Mountain High School, and I've made a little shirt that's half and half just to bug my boys. And I would like to continue to serve you in place 6 LISD because I would like to be a longer advocate for our students and our teachers within LISD. I have been involved with education policy for 5 years. Before I ran for the board, I used to go down to the state and testify at the House and Senate education hearings because I'm very active making sure that the state is doing the right things for our kids. As a trustee, I would like to continue and create board goals. I think that board goals that tie directly to our district goals be helpful to the board to have a greater alliance with the student achievement within the district. In particular, the authentic student achievement that we have that is going on, not the STAR data and all that. So I want to create more tie between board goals and student achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So to get started with our questions, Texas law has a unique provision that requires high school principals or their designees to serve as voter registrar and, quote, at least twice each school year, distribute an officially prescribed registration application form to each student who is or will be 18 years of age or older during that year. What are you doing, if you're an incumbent, or will you do or commit to do to ensure that high schools in the LISD are complying with this law? And do you support additional efforts, and if so, what, to register students to vote? We'll start with Christy.
Awesome. The deadline to vote is this Thursday, by the way, April 6th. I already have forced my 18-year-old to register to vote, and I have actually gone up to Denton or actually stolen some from the town of Flower Mound registrations and made sure that our high schools actually have plenty of voters registration cards, because it's very important to get them sucked in right now while they're still young and impressionable, that they need to start voting right away on everything. I also make sure that the PTAs know that these students could, because they're very digital online, they can go online and do the same form. So I make sure that the PTAs distribute that information to the high schools, the newsletters, so that they can go online. I've even contacted the Denton County registrars, trying to show them that other districts, other states are doing a better online process, because ours is silly. You have to fill out the form online and you still have to mail it in, so it's not really an online process. And they're actually considering to look at a better online process to register online itself.
With respect to high school principals trying to register prospective voters, I don't see anything wrong with that. And the way to ensure that happens, as with, I think, just about everything else, is communication. As a board member, I would, aside from this specific issue, make sure that I spoke with all high school principals, talked to them about it, but I also think it needs to be publicized throughout the community that this is going on, and in whatever way possible. Thank you.
Well, I would say that, first of all, this is an administrative issue, not a board issue, but the board does set policy on what the administration should do. In those situations, our administration does what the statutes, this is a statutory issue, requires. It's not a board policy or a local policy, that means the district policy. But I'm very proud that in 2014, LHS Stuco decided that they were going to get involved because the board was not listening to them, or the person I ran against. And they had their own forum and came out of that and endorsed me and campaigned for me. So I think my record of advocating students, listening to parents, is such that it will continue to allow for engagement. We engage our students on this every year from a civics perspective. It's not a new thing. This is not a surprise to us. It happens. You don't know it happens if you're not in the schools and you're just focused on one or two schools or one or two things that are on your agenda. But the fact is, we have it. We will continue to endorse the statutory requirements and make sure that everybody votes. That's what our objective is in our civics classes and in our schools.
Personally, I think it's a great thing that we do. It actually needs to start sooner, and I know we do that because our school at Valley Ridge actually had a mock election, which I thought was great. All 200 students that was there, they got to have their own little ballot and pretend that it was an election, since this year was an election. I think that's the best place to start, and as we move up in the grades, that's how we keep them involved. We make sure that they are involved and they know what's going on. So not only are we doing a good job now with keeping them involved and letting them know what's going on, but then we continue doing that throughout their education. That is happening now, and I would support it ongoing, and I don't think it needs to be a statute or it needs to be anything involved and heavily weighted and getting anybody elected over it. I just think that's something that we do for our schools, do for our students, and that's what we need to do. And just keep doing that.
Yes, I think voter registration is very important to start as early as possible, as 18 and up, and getting them engaged. And I'm really excited because I know that we have political party clubs inside of the high school, so we're already getting kids engaged, thinking through the issues. And I can tell you my daughter has been very engaged in the last several elections herself. So, sounds great.
Thanks. I just want to a little follow up on that. So to be clear, what state law requires is that the principals provide information about how to register. But this question is really focused on: do you support increased efforts to get these seniors, mostly seniors, registered? And if so, what? And I want to hear specific ideas. So, Sandra.
All right, well, I guess if you want to get really specific on ideas for how to get students engaged, you do what you do on college campuses: set up tables and sign them up right there. Precinct chairs can do that. Anybody can register people to vote. I think the other thing that you can consider, and this is something that I had an idea about a long time, is engaging the parents to engage their children, or engaging children more directly. We communicate a lot through websites and through email, but even doing a text messaging kind of system saying, hey, we're announcing that we're registering kids, get your kids out here today or come out today and we'll register them.
Sorry, didn't answer the question appropriately. I would say that basically you could roll it up into when they are actually doing student council and get them involved in when they're electing their student council. They also they get the principal, can get them into getting registered to vote at the same time, have different days where they have, they can set up different booths and get the input from the students on if they want to be independents, if they want to be Republicans, if they want to be Democrats. Give them more information about each of the different, if they want to be a Tea Party. Let them know what the different things are out there and get them more involved into that.
The first thing you need to do is, when you're running for office or in office, is tell the truth. Kids see us as role models, and the Bible says the first person to tell their story seems right till the next person comes along. And they're looking for role models, and the reason they don't engage is because they see people that misrepresent things or make promises that they can't fulfill. I'm very comfortable with what we're doing today. It's a statute. That means it's a law, by the way. It's not optional. The statutes require we do it, and we do it in our campuses. We do it in our civics classes. We make ourselves available, but principals have to be very careful because there is a teacher's code of ethics. So what they can do is make it available, but they cannot push it. So some of the things you've heard are not available under the statute, but you do make it available to kids.
So let me follow up on that. To be clear, what you're saying is the principals are restricted from encouraging registration, voter registration?
They're not discouraged from encouraging voter registration.
So the
they
question
cannot.
So the question is then, what specific things would you support doing to encourage principals to actually encourage students to register to vote?
There's a presumption there that we're not doing everything we can in the campus. I think it's wrong. I think it's not. I would just say, I think our principals are doing everything that they have been asked to do. We are getting more voter turnout of teenagers in LISD and registrations than ever before. And the political environment is helping with that. The principals have a very big task in our high schools, people. If you have kids in high school, you know that. But, so I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just saying that this is a big task, and I think all of us, parents and principals, are responsible. That's a venue. It's like when my son goes to vote, he can go to UNT. They make it available at UNT, but they're encouraging him to vote, but not just persuading him. It's the same type of thing in the campuses. So I'm comfortable that our civics classes, our STUCOs, all of those venues are doing what they're asked to under the statute.
I want to be clear that I think